In the heart of Africa, where the ancient forests whisper secrets to the wind, and the rivers flow with the memories of the past, there lies a tale of a remarkable woman named Akugo. Her story is one of courage, love, and the unwavering belief in the mysteries of the spirit world. Born in the village of Umuagu, Akugo's life was marked by tragedy and loss, but also by her unshakable faith in the unknown. Her journey took her from the depths of despair to the heights of triumph, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations to come. This is the story of Akugo, a tale of the power of love, wisdom, and the indomitable human spirit. Akugo wandered through the forest, her feet carrying her farther than she had intended. The trees seemed to close in around her, casting dappled shadows on the ground. She had been warned not to stray from the path, but Akugo was drawn to the forest secrets. As she turned a bend, a figure emerged from the trees. Tall and imposing, he wore a white robe that seemed to glow in the fading light. His face was hidden behind a hood, and his presence was both captivating and unsettling. Akugo felt a shiver run down her spine as the stranger approached her. She tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. The stranger drew closer, his movements graceful and deliberate. "Akugo," he whispered, his voice low and husky. "You are far from home." Akugo's heart raced as the stranger reached out a hand. She felt a jolt of electricity as his fingers brushed against hers. "Who are you?" she managed to stammer. The stranger's response was a low, enigmatic smile. "I am one who has been waiting for you, Akugo." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Akugo felt herself becoming lost in the stranger's eyes. They seemed to hold a world of secrets and mysteries, and she felt an overwhelming desire to unravel them. The stranger's grip on her hand tightened, and Akugo felt herself being drawn into a world beyond her wildest dreams. She knew in that moment that her life would never be the same. Akugo's eyes remained fixed on the stranger's, her heart pounding in her chest. She felt a sense of wonder and trepidation, as if she were standing at the edge of a great precipice. And then, in an instant, the stranger vanished. Akugo blinked, her mind struggling to comprehend what had just happened. She looked around, half expecting to see the stranger reappear, but she was alone in the forest. The trees seemed to loom over her, their branches creaking ominously in the wind. She took a step back, her eyes scanning the clearing as if searching for a trace of the stranger's presence. But there was nothing. No sign, no sound, no hint that he had ever been there at all. Akugo's mind raced with questions. Who was the stranger? What did he want from her? And how had he disappeared so suddenly, without a trace? She felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized that she had been left with more questions than answers. The encounter had left her with a sense of unease, as if she had caught a glimpse of a world beyond her own. As she turned to make her way back through the forest, Akugo couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She quickened her pace, her heart pounding in her chest, until she emerged from the trees and saw the familiar outlines of her village in the distance. Only then did she feel a sense of safety, and the strange encounter began to feel like a dream. But the memory of the stranger's eyes lingered, haunting her like a ghost. Akugo walked back to her village, her mind still reeling from the encounter with the stranger. She couldn't shake the feeling that her life had been forever changed, though she didn't know how or why. As she approached her hut, she noticed a small, white feather lying on the ground. She picked it up, feeling an inexplicable sense of connection to it. The feather was soft and light, with a subtle sheen that seemed to glow in the fading light. Akugo felt a sudden jolt of recognition. This was the same type of feather that the stranger had worn in his hair. She felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized that the feather must have been left for her, a symbol of the stranger's presence. She held the feather close, feeling a sense of comfort and peace wash over her. It was as if the stranger's spirit was still with her, watching over her. As she entered her hut, Akugo felt a sense of gratitude towards the stranger. She realized that their encounter had been a gift, a reminder that there was more to life than the mundane routines of her village. She placed the feather on a small altar in her hut, where it seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. From that day on, Akugo felt a sense of guidance and protection, as if the stranger's spirit was always with her, watching over her. And whenever she felt lost or uncertain, she would look to the feather for comfort and strength. The sun was high overhead, casting a warm glow over the village. Akugo's family and friends had gathered in the central courtyard, their faces filled with joy and anticipation. Today was a special day, a day of celebration and feasting. Akugo's mother, Uzoma, had spent all morning preparing the traditional dishes, her hands moving deftly as she chopped and stirred. The aroma of roasted meat and steaming vegetables wafted through the air, making everyone's mouth water. Akugo's friends, Adana and Neoma, chattered excitedly as they helped with the final preparations. They were all dressed in their finest clothes, their colorful wrappers and beads shining in the sunlight. As the villagers gathered around the tables, Akugo's father, Ejike, stood up to welcome everyone. His eyes twinkled with pride as he looked at his family and friends. Today, we gather to celebrate the harvest season, he declared. May our crops continue to flourish, and may our community remain strong and united. The villagers cheered and clapped, and the feast began. Akugo joined in, laughing and chatting with her friends and family. But amidst the joy and celebration, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was different. She felt a sense of detachment, as if she was observing the scene from outside herself. No one noticed anything amiss, too caught up in the festivities. But Akugo knew that her encounter with the stranger had changed her. She felt a newfound sense of wonder and curiosity, a sense that there was more to life than this small village and its traditions. And as she smiled and laughed with her loved ones, she knew that she would never be content with the ordinary again. Hi everyone. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and comment below. Also, consider subscribing to my page for more updates. Note: subscribing is different from clicking the notification bell. To get notified of new posts, click the 3 dots next to the subscribe button and select Get Notifications. Thanks for your support.